So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. We will take up 3-4 articles from your today's newspaper and we will discuss them in length and breadth. Now we will start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, and afterwards we will see these 3 important articles, that is meeting nutrition challenges. When we are talking about today's lifestyle, there are various things like obesity, there are diabetes, cardiovascular issues. All these things are actually related to one thing, that is your diet patterns. Okay. Because of these diet patterns, there can be you can say overnutrition, there can be a malnutrition. So all these aspects has been covered in this article. This article will be very high yielding article because there are various aspects which has been covered over here. Okay, so we will discuss that, and afterwards we will see India-Maldives meet. So yesterday we have talked about this particular meeting that is supposed to be happening on the 9th of May, and afterwards we will see what has been the outcome of this meeting. What's cooking in the Cook Islands? These Cook Islands can be important for your prelims. There is something recently new, you can say dimensions of development which is happening over there, which are related to mining activities in the seabed. Okay, we will see what these mining activities are all about, what are the concerns which are related to it. Okay, so we will see this article as well. Then from the front page, as I told you, we will take this article, that is first Maldives India meet amid Muizu chills flag reciprocity. Okay, we will see that. Then second is ED opposes interim bail to Kejriwal, tells Supreme Court campaigning tells Supreme Court that campaigning is not a legal right. Okay, we will give a passing reference to this particular article as well. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now coming to the your practice question which was given to you in the last lecture. Okay, so dumping occurs when a foreign company sells its products in another country at a price which is equal to the cost of production, higher than the cost of production, lower than the cost of production, and unrelated to the cost of production. Okay, option C would be a right answer. When we are talking about the dumping is an activity wherein from the source country, okay, let's say we have taken this example of Vietnam last time. Okay, or you can take example of China. Now let's say there is a production cost that is nearly around $70 US, but they are exporting this to a country, let's say USA, after some kind of subsidies which are given by the government, let's say at a price of, let's say $20 US, that is subsidy, and they are selling it at a price of $50. Okay, now at $50 they are sending this product to USA, and in the domestic economy of USA this product is available at a cost of nearly $80 US. Okay, now since their cost is $70 US, they are sending it for $50 US. That is basically to capture the US's market. Okay, now these cheap products are capturing US's market. This process is called dumping. Okay, USA can go for anti-dumping related activities. Okay, and considering that they have given the status of non-market economies to Vietnam, China, Russia, etc., and now Vietnam is asking USA to give their status, like you can say remove this status of non-marketing economy to market economies. Okay, so that they can send their exports to USA. So that is about anti-dumping or dumping, that is lower than the cost of production. Okay, now moving further, and we will start with the first article of the day. Hold on a second. So here we will start with the ED opposes interim bail to Kejriwal, tells Supreme Court campaigning not even a legal right. Now when we are talking about the voting is casting a vote is your legal right. Okay, but campaigning is not even a legal right. And when we are talking about this bail in the matter of this excise policy case in which Kejriwal has been taken into custody by ED. Now when we are talking about this particular bail, he is saying that for the purpose of campaigning for the Lok Sabha election, he wants the bail. Okay, when we are talking about yesterday's newspaper, there was this article which court said that even if you are granted bail, okay, you will not go for fulfilling any kind of duties which are supposed to be fulfilled in the capacity of CM. Okay, so that was yesterday, but again bail was not granted, and today Supreme Court will see the matter again. Okay, so in this particular thing, ED has put forward some you can say concerns, and they have said that any special concession to him will amount to anathema to the rule of law and equality, thereby creating two separate class in the country. One is ordinary people or who are law abiding and on which law will actually, they will be bound by the rule of law. And second category will be of the politicians who can seek exemption as and when they require, or you can say as per the law. Okay. Now the crux of the article over here is that the ED Enforcement Directorate opposes granting interim bail to Arvind Kejriwal, stating that it would undermine the rule of law and equality. They argue that allowing bail for campaigning purpose would create two separate classes. One is ordinary citizens, which are bound by the law, and then politicians, which are exempted from it. Okay, time to time we have seen that there are certain situations wherein these things has happened. So that can create two separate categories of law or the citizens. Now ED emphasizes that the campaigning is not a fundamental or the constitutional right and should not be warranted a special treatment for that. Okay, that is why ED has said that in this case, when he is asking a bail for the campaigning, that should not be given because it is not a matter of right. Okay, now here two terms are mentioned. One is constitutional right, second is your fundamental right, and then there is this legal right. Fundamental rights, you know that part 3 of the constitution, there are certain rights which are fundamental in nature, which cannot be abrogated until unless there is a constitutional amendment. Okay, that is one thing. These are enforceable in nature. You can go to Supreme Court if there is a violation of fundamental right. Then there are constitutional right. In other part of the constitution, if there is a right, okay, just a right to property, that is a constitutional right, but the thing is that is not a fundamental right. Okay, then third comes the legal right, that is right to vote. Right to vote is not mentioned in your constitution, it is mentioned in a statute of parliament. Okay, so that is why it is a legal right which is getting its source from the statute of the parliament and not from the constitution, or you can say fundamental rights, right? So these are the three kind of differences which is there. They can ask you like right to vote is a what kind of right, so you can say that it is a legal right. Okay, right for the campaigning, it is not even a right. Okay, now moving forward, here you can see Kejriwal's legal team contested that ED's affidavit denouncing it as disregard to the legal procedure. Now legal procedure, they are referring to the bail. Okay, so they are saying that bail is a matter of right in certain cases. So that, but the thing is, in the matter of bail, it is to be decided by the judges. Okay. Then ED asserts that the politician should not receive any special attention or the treatment and must face consequences for committing offences like any other citizens. Okay, so that is logical thing to say. Now ED refers to the previous cases where bail challenges were addressed through the regular legal processes. Okay, and not any kind of special treatment to be granted to the accused. Okay. They argued that the granting interim bail for the campaigning would set a dangerous precedent in incentivizing criminal behavior among the politicians. Okay, so once this is happening, if next time you are going for certain things like that, or any kind of issue which is related to your money laundering, or you can say prevention of corruption, etc. So in that regard, if you are setting a precedent that in such cases, if you are granting a bail for the campaigning, so there are chances that such behavior will be, you can say, incentivizing the politicians to ignore the law and go for such activities. Now in conclusion, the ED urges the court to reject Kejriwal's plea for interim bail, as it would violate principle of law and the equality. Okay, now today they will be hearing the matter, we will see what happens. Now moving further, your next article is related to your nutrition challenges. Okay, so here you can see meeting nutrition challenges, what new guidelines prescribes. Okay, so recently a body, okay, that is National Institute of Nutrition, that is based in Hyderabad, they have come up with certain guidelines. We will talk about that. Now with non-communicable diseases, NCDs, like cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, etc., rising and affecting the adolescent and the even children. Okay, we have seen that in the recent time we have had the cases of you can say this obesity and diabetes, etc., they are found in the children as well. So that is basically because of the nutrition, that is basically because of the dietary patterns. Okay, so there are certain vulnerable sections which has been addressed over here. It has been seen that when we are talking about the lactating woman or the pregnant woman, when we are talking about the child, when we are talking about the elderly person, these are some vulnerable sections. Their dietary pattern or their nutrition requirement has to be fulfilled, otherwise that will have a detrimental effect on their health. Okay, so let's see. So even in the non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, diabetes, etc., rising and affecting the adolescent and even the children, India's premier nutrition research institute, that is National Institute of Nutrition, that is in Hyderabad, Here they have published a comprehensive guidelines on the diet of vulnerable groups, pregnant and lactating women, children and elderly. Okay. Now they work under the Council of Medical Research, ICMR. Then general principle and such reducing consumption of salt and highly processed food. This is a general, you can say, guideline which is there, and we know that you should not go for overuse of salt, you should not go for overuse of the processed food or the packaged food. Okay. So this is the general guideline which has been given. Other than that, they have talked about various burdens of the diseases, etc. So let's see. The guideline says that estimated 56.4% of the total disease burden can be attributed to unhealthy diet. Now here you can say that more than 50% of the, you can say, burden of these diseases is because of your unhealthy dietary pattern. Okay. So if you are going to address this issue, there are high chances that our disease burden of our country will reduce. Ultimately, you can go and child from the conception till the age of 2 years is linked to the proper growth and development. Now this is the time since the conception of the baby till 2 years of the life cycle of the baby. It is the time for the proper development of or you can say physical development of the baby. At that point of time, we have to give special attention to the diet. Okay. First 6 months when we are talking about, that is the time when baby is on the breast milk, and it is most nutrition based you can say food for a baby that can be available. Now it is said that for the 6 months baby should not be even given water, okay, even in the summer months, because all the requirement can be fulfilled by the breast milk. Okay, that is one thing. At that point of time when the mother is lactating, then dietary pattern of the mother should also be monitored, because all the nutrition whatever she is eating is actually contributing to the nutrition for the baby. Okay, so that is why that optimal nutrition for the mother and the child from the conception till the age of 2 years is linked to the proper growth and development, prevent all forms of undernutrition including micronutrient deficiency and obesity. So okay, that is the kind of benefit is there for the breast milk if they are fed properly. Now high prevalence of the lifestyle conditions even in children, overweight, obese, or you can say diabetes, pre-diabetes, all these data are given in this particular table we will see afterwards. So basically when we are talking about children, there are issues like overweight, obesity, diabetes, pre-diabetes level, all these things are present in the current generation. Then the survey found that high level of bad cholesterol, when we are talking about the LDL, or you can say that triglycerides, these are basically bad cholesterols. The level of such cholesterol should be very low in you can say low in your body. Okay, and there are some healthy cholesterols which can be okay, but the thing is these bad cholesterol would be low in the body. But the thing is right now we can say that considering our lifestyle, these you can say bad cholesterols are basically increasing in the body. Okay, so here you can see high level of cholesterol, bad cholesterol, that is LDL and the triglyceride in 37.3% of the children of the age 5 to 9 years, and 19.9%, nearly 20% in the pre-teens and the teens at the time of 10 to 19 years. Okay, so that is the age wherein they are having such bad cholesterol inside their body. Okay, and all these things is because of your dietary habits, because of your food choices, because this is the time where kids will be going for the packaged food. Most of the packaged food will be consumed by the kids in this particular time. Okay, now dual challenge is one thing, your undernutrition, second is your obesity or the overnutrition. Now the thing is these are the dual challenges, that is both micronutrients deficiency and then disease of the overnutrition. These are the dual challenge of nutrition. Now there are some diseases which are basically form of, or you can say some form of undernutrition. Here you can see that is marasmus, a deficiency of macronutrients such as carbohydrates and the proteins. Now these are basically your macronutrients. When we are talking about carbohydrates, proteins, these are macronutrients. When we are talking about these like zinc, iron, vitamins, etc., they are your micronutrients. Okay, so such deficiency of macronutrients is basically your marasmus, and then there is this kwashiorkor, that is deficiency of protein. So please remember these 2-3 terms because this can be asked in your exams. Okay, one is marasmus, kwashiorkor, then that is deficiency of proteins, that has been disappeared from the country as of now. But the thing is, there are problem of anemia which still persists, there are problem of wasting, there is problem of stunting, all these things are still present in our country. Okay, now when we are talking about anemia, it continues. Prevalence of anemia is nearly 40.6%, 23.5% and 28.4% in age of below 5, 5 to 9 and 10 to 19 respectively. So you can see that nearly 20 to 40% of anemia or the population of these children which is basically anemic in nature. Okay, so that is one thing. We have talked about three things. One is your marasmus, second is kwashiorkor. Okay, so this is basically related to your deficiency of macronutrients, this is related to deficiency of protein. Please remember these two terms, this is very important. Okay, now undernutrition continues to be high in India. Obesity has increased significantly over the last 30 years. Now all is related to these faulty dietary patterns, unhealthy, highly processed, high fat, high sugar, high salt food which has been made more affordable in the recent parts. Okay, and there are healthier alternatives, but we are not going for such things. Okay, so this is basically related to your overweight and obesity. Ultimately everything is related to your diet. Now general dietary principles. So obviously there are certain things which I know that you should go for the lesser consumption of salts and sugar, you should not go for the packaged food, you should not go for the saturated oils, etc. Okay, now coming to here, there are 8 food groups which has been recommended. One is your vegetable, second is leafy vegetable, roots and tubers, dairy, nuts and oils. These are certain things you can go for the consumption. When we are talking about these oils, that is you can say natural oils which is not harmful for your body. Okay, again anything which you are taking in a particular optimal quantity, that will not be harmful. Okay, even salts. Okay, you have to have a salt intake nearly like 5 grams a day. Okay, so that will be healthy. But the thing is, overuse of salt, overuse of sugar, overuse of oils, that is ultimately harmful. Okay, now consumption of the cereals, that is the staple meal of India, when we are talking about, that should be restricted. Nearly right now when we are talking about, we take most of the you can say calories in the form of these cereals. Okay, so that should be restricted to the 45% of the total energy. Right now we are taking it up to 50 to 70% cereals, but it should be restricted to only 45%. Then other you can say proteins should be added inside your diet, that is pulses, meat, poultry, fishes, etc. And you should consume nearly 14% of the daily protein. Okay, 14% of the total energy should be protein, from the protein. Right now it is nearly 6 to 9%. Okay, so we are not taking enough protein, but we are going for the more and more you can say cereals, etc. Now here you can say polyunsaturated fatty acid, PUFA and B12 is the challenge for vegetarians, because these are the kind of nutrients which are not readily available in the vegetarian food. But again, for that you can go for the use of flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, vegetables and the greens. These things can be the source of your B12 and PUFA, that is PUFA, that is polyunsaturated fatty acids. These are the good fats. Okay, now report says that the salt consumption should be restricted to 5 grams a day. Okay, so that is the thing which body requires. Afterwards, against the consuming highly processed food and the high fats, sugars and salts. Okay, so these are things which has to be avoided. These are things which you can consume. Now for the group of pregnant women, there is a small frequent meals. If you are mostly when we are talking about the pregnant women, there is this nausea which they feel. So in that case you can go for the small meals, but at a very high frequency, like you can eat again and again in a small quantity. Okay, then lots of fruits and vegetables high in iron and folate content. Infant and children, they should be for the first 6 months they should be breastfed. Okay, that must be given must not be given honey, glucose or any kind of diluted milk. Okay, even no need to give water for the first 6 months, even in the hotter months. Okay, now after the age of 6 months, complementary foods must be included. Now for the elderly, you should go for the calcium rich diet, or you can say the diet which has micronutrients, etc. apart from the pulses and cereals, and whole grains should be included. Low fat milk or the milk product should be used. Fist full of nuts and oil seeds, these things can be given to the elderly people. Okay, now I hope this is clear about this particular article. Okay, so you can go through this 2-3 diseases which we have mentioned, that is your, you can say this particular paragraph can be important for you, so please give it a read. Second, this is the paragraph which is wherein source of B12 etc. which has been given over there. Okay, this can be a paragraph for your importance. Okay, I hope that much is enough from this particular thing. If you want to go through this particular table, you can go through it, but again you don't have to remember all this data, because obviously you can say processing so much of data is not practical, so you don't have to go through this particular thing. And remember this institution, that is basically your National Institute of Nutrition, that is based in Hyderabad. It is working under the ICMR. Okay, now we can move further. That is the next article. First Maldives India meet amid Muizu, chills flags, and now reciprocity. Okay, so basically right now what we are saying here is that when we are talking about Maldives, last year there was this elections in Maldives, and President Muizu got elected as the leader of the state, or you can say president of that country. Muizu has this inclination towards China, or it was speculated that in the previous term he has this inclination towards China as a minister in the government, and right now he is president, so there are chances that he will have this particular inclination. And when he became you can say he was campaigning for their elections, he has run a campaign, that is India Out campaign. Now this campaign was related to the you can say presence of military personnel in India, and they have said that they will, first thing they will do is to remove these people from their country. So there were nearly some 80, you can say, military personnel which were actually working there for their humanitarian aid, or you can say when we are talking about the medical related you can say emergencies. So these were there operating certain equipments like helicopters etc. But they said that these are military personnel and they should be leaving the country. And after the election they have set a deadline, that is 10th of May. Okay, and in the recent visit that has happened on the 9th of May, one day before the deadline, the ministry has confirmed that all the 80 military personnel has been replaced with the civilian staff, or you can say technical expert over there, but these military personnel has been recalled back to the India. Okay, now that is about the whatever background was there. And because of these things, what has happened, this India Out campaign and election of the President Muizu over there, and then he has made his visit to China and not India, all these things were ultimately led to a tense situation between these two countries, that is Maldives and India. Now these two countries are important for each other for various reasons. First thing, Maldives is very strategically located for us in the Indian Ocean, so that is one thing. Second thing, we do not want presence of China in Maldives, because that is a strategic location, and we want that this should stay in our sphere of influence. Okay, now coming to the article here. So in the recent developments, the development of India-Maldives ties was based on the mutual interest and the reciprocal sensitivity, given that they are close and proximate neighbors. Okay, that is what our external affair minister has said. Then the Maldives foreign minister and the Jaishankar met in New Delhi a day ahead of the 10th of May, deadline set by the President Muizu for India to withdraw its military personnel from the island nation. First high level visit after the election of President Muizu, which he has come in power. On the withdrawal of the Indian military personnel from the Maldives, they have External Affairs Ministry has said that they have returned and have been replaced by the competent Indian technical persons. Okay, so this is about the withdrawal which has happened. And now India Out campaign, when we are talking about Muizu, he has this campaign, that is India Out pole plank, one of the Muizu's first act to demand the withdrawal of 80 military personnel by the 10th of May. Okay, and stationed there, they were stationed there to operate 2 helicopters and a Dornier aircraft. Okay, now this is about the situation which is there. Now this particular meeting is the first sign wherein we can say that the Muizu government understands the importance of India, that after doing all these things they did not get any benefit. After going to China for the first meet, they did not get much benefit. They thought that you can say declining state of relations with India would not be in their favor. Okay, so that is why this visit has happened. And before this visit there was this announcement, we will talk about that here. As a close and proximate neighbors, the development of our ties is obviously based on the mutual interest and the reciprocal sensitivity articulated in the terms of the neighborhood first policy and the Sagar initiative. Neighborhood first policy, you know that, okay, and then Sagar institution, that is security and the growth for all in the region. Now, when we are talking about this particular region of Indian Ocean, India has, you can say, came up as a first responder in the country, in the region. And when we are talking about this island nation, there are various, incidences where India has helped them in the case of emergencies, etc. Okay. Now, development of the assistance to the Maldives. India has been a key provider of development assistance to the Maldives, okay, in the infrastructure project or the social initiative to medical evacuation and the health facilities, etc. We have also extended financial support on the favorable terms in the past. The first responder on the numerous occasions for the Maldives, enhance the security and the well-being of your country and capacity building and training. So these are the efforts which has India taken in the recent past when we are talking about. Okay, now India recently approved the highest ever export quota for the essential commodities like egg, potatoes, onion, sugar, rice, wheat, pulses, river sand and the stone aggregates to the Maldives in 2024. This is a unique bilateral mechanism wherein they have given this highest ever export quotas. Okay, now this is highest since the arrangement came into picture in 1981. Okay, so please remember this particular thing. Since 1981 we are giving this exports to Maldives. Okay, India remains strongly committed to supporting the human centric development in the Maldives as a part of neighborhood first policy, and was important and that was important talking point from where the approach the bilateral conversation in what has been the otherwise frosty political relation between the Muizu and become the president. So basically they are saying that after this meeting, okay, so there is this positive energy in the, you can say, the relations between the two countries, which has been tense after the election of the President Muizu. Okay. Now, we have talked about the static which is related to Maldives in our previous lecture, so I will not go into details of it. For your prelims point of view, what becomes important is that you have to go and see the situations, or you can say locations of Maldives, Malé, Minicoy, Lakshadweep, okay, and the Lakshadweep. Okay, so all these things were in news for various reasons, and somehow they were in somehow connected to the issue of Maldives. Okay, now moving further, next article which is related to your Myanmar. Okay, reiterates vows to restore democracy. Now you know that in Myanmar there was this election in 2021, I guess, and after that the person that is the leader over there, democratic leader over here, has been overthrown by the military persons over there, and because of which there was this military rule or military junta rule which is there, and afterwards there was this pro-democratic protests which has started over there, and there was a situation of violence which was happening in Myanmar. Recently there was this visit of Cambodian ex-PM Hun Sen, and in that visit they have talked about certain things, and the representative of the military junta, they have said that they want to restore elections or the democracy back in Myanmar. So that was the, you can say, positive development after a long time. Here you can say Myanmar's military chief discussed plans to hold elections in the country with the former Cambodian leader Hun Sen in talks this week. A senior official said that the ruling junta faces unprecedented pressure from the expanding arms resistance. As I told you, there are certain protests and which has converted into arms resistance, and now because of the pressure of this arms resistance, they are saying that they are willing to restore democracy back again. Okay, the military government has promised repeatedly to return Myanmar to democracy, but has given no time frame for when the election will happen. Okay, so here he had asked junta leader Min Aung something, you can read this name please, okay, my pronunciations are not good when we are talking about such names. Okay, so they have talked about junta leader if he could speak to the detained Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay, so this Aung San Suu Kyi is basically the democratic leader, okay, which was supposed to form a elected government in 2021 before the military coup. So in 2021 you can say that there was a military coup which has happened in Myanmar. Okay, we have promised to hold a multi-party democratic elections. We are currently preparing and implementing the necessary measures for that. From our side, we will refrain from any action or things that may delay or disturb the process. That is what has been discussed in this particular you can say meeting, and military junta, or you can say the military government over there in Myanmar, has said that they will go for the elections in the recent time. Okay, they did not fix a time framework, but again, this is even a positive point that they are saying that they will go for the elections. Now, when we are talking about the location of Burma, or you can say Myanmar, this is basically the borders. Okay, so Myanmar has a border with India, Bangladesh, you can say China. So this is first India, Bangladesh, okay, then we have China over here, then Laos, then here we have Thailand, okay. Some part of you can say this particular island has this boundary with the Indian Ocean in the form of Bay of Bengal, okay. So here you can see all these aspects are covered, and these states, when we are talking about, one is Arunachal Pradesh, second is your Nagaland, third is Manipur, fourth is Mizoram. Here in the next picture you can see here Arunachal Pradesh, then we have Manipur, then we have Mizoram, and this particular state is basically Nagaland, okay. So here you can see Nagaland as well. So there are 4 states with which Myanmar has border, that is your Arunachal Pradesh, one, second is Nagaland, third is Manipur. Manipur is important for you for various reasons. There was this violence like activities which has been happening over there, so I would suggest that please go through Manipur and important national parks etc. from the Manipur, okay. Arunachal Pradesh has been in news because of the Chinese aggressions, so please go through those parts. Now coming up, talking about this Myanmar situation, you know that there was this free movement regime, FMR, which was there with Myanmar, and recently our government, our home ministry has said that they will be withdrawing it from the Myanmar, okay, and they will go for the fencing with the Myanmar borders, okay. So what is this free movement regime? So basically, let's say this is the boundary here, you can see this is the boundary of India and Myanmar, okay. So the communities which are living nearby, they can cross the boundary up to 16 kilometers, both the sides, okay, from Indian side as well as the from you can say Myanmar side. They can come, they can interact with the people over there, they can go for the trade, they can go for various activities, and again afterwards they can actually go back to their respective countries. They can stay here up to 7 days, and that for that they require a pass, okay. That pass should be renewed every year, okay, on the yearly basis that pass will be renewed, okay. So that particular mechanism was basically your free movement regime. It was started back in 2018 when there was a democratic government in Myanmar, okay, which is pro democracy and pro India as well. So that is why we had this particular system, and now since there is this issues which are going on, or the protests which are going on, and because of which military junta is retaliating, and people from that part of Myanmar, they are moving outside Myanmar, and their destinations are basically, you can say, they coming to they are crossing Indian borders. So considering that, the home ministry has decided to go for the ending this free movement regime. Second thing is that they will go for the fencing of the Indo-Myanmar border, okay. I hope this is clear. Now we can move further. Now about the Cook's Island, okay, Cook Island. So basically, why this has been in news? Because there are reserves of you can say various metal nodules has been found over here, and there is this struggle going on between the leaders over there and the environmentalists. Leaders are going for the possibilities of the exploration of these resources, but the thing is, environmentalists are saying that it will harm the seabed ecosystem over there. So let's see. There are 2 ships which has arrived in Cook Island in the South Pacific in the March last year. One is Massive Cruise, which is basically with the hundreds of tourists which is coming to this particular country. When we are talking about Cook Island, that is overly dependent on the tourism economy, is overly dependent on the tourism, okay. So that is why these ships of tourists are basically important for them. And second vessel which has come, that is a neon orange vessel hauling complex scientific equipments, was more unusual, okay. But the thing is, they are happy that the Prime Minister over there, that is Mark Brown, they have said that to Brown, the cruise ship represent his country's troubling dependence on the economy, or sorry, on the tourism and the other international mining company vessel. So this mining company vessel is here because of the resources which are available over here. The Cook Island is the vanguard of the quest to mine the ocean floor for minerals used in the electric car and batteries. Okay, mining these deposits has never been attempted on the large scale, but the reserves are so vast that extracting them could power the world's shift away from the fossil fuel. Now again they are saying that the reserve here is so vast that they can you can say power the world's shift from the fossil fuel to electric energy. Okay, so that is why this becomes even more important. But again there are certain environmental concerns. Okay, it would be transformation for the Cook Island, as well as the seabed mining could generate the tens of billions of dollars for the tiny country. Okay, tens of billions of dollars. So again their you can say economy is going through a troubled time. They are based on tourism, but with that their economy will also get a boost. Okay, now there is the opposition from the environmentalists. They are saying that it will harm the ecology of the deep sea areas, which we generally think that life has begun from that particular area of the seabeds, and then there are various species which are living over there, so ultimately it will harm them. Okay, the government is aggressively promoting the deep sea mining over here. PM Brown insisted that the Cook Island has not committed to mining yet. Okay, exploring possibility is part of journey of the sovereign independence. They are saying that we are just taking, or we are just looking at the possibility of the exploration, but we have not committed anything yet. Okay, the Cook Island is a 15 island chain that was once a colony of New Zealand, and now since 1965 they have been self-governing. Okay, so this paragraph becomes important. Cook Island was a colony of New Zealand, and since 1965 they have been self-governing. Okay, now short of full independence, the international research vessels began exploring the country's territorial waters. Here you can say the researchers found a seabed carpeted with avocado-sized rocks or nodules rich in the cobalt and manganese. Okay, when we are talking about these polymetallic nodules, India has also some certain, you can say, exploration rights when we are talking about Indian Ocean region, but because of certain restrictions, because of the technological restrictions and the lesser advancements, we did not go for the exploration of them yet. Okay, so we are still trying for the exploration. Now when we are talking about this particular area, they are rich in the nodules which are found in the seabed. They are rich in cobalt and manganese. Okay, now again this cobalt and manganese can be important for the you can say electrical vehicles. Okay, now extracting nodules from the ocean floor with a proper control would cause less environment harm than the open pit surface mining, which would disrupt the surrounding communities. Now they are saying that this will cause less harm, because when we are going for the open pit mining, that would be resulting into the displacement of the local communities which are living over there. Okay, now they are saying that it is better to go for extraction of these polymetallic nodules from the seabed rather than go for the open pit mining. Okay, our creation story is that the bottom of the ocean is where the life begin. How many creatures we destroying down if there is a suck up of the all the sand. Okay, in this particular process, what they will do is they will send certain equipments down there, and they will try to create a vacuum and suck up all the nodules. Okay, with that there will be a lot of sand particles, there will be a lot of you can say aquatic animals which might also get sucked up. So that is basically the concern of the environmentalist. But right now for our important, that is for our exam point of view, 2-3 things are important here. Is that Cook's Island has found a reserve of metallic nodules like it is manganese and cobalt, sorry, not you can say magnesium, that is manganese and cobalt. These are important for the electrical vehicle related energies. Okay, and it can generate a lot of revenue for the country. Okay, the location of Cook Island will become important. Here we will see the location. Okay, so this is your Australia. Here we have in the vicinity we have New Zealand, and this was earlier under the control of New Zealand till 1965, and now it is a self-governing country. So this is your Cook Island over here. Okay, near to French Polynesia. So please remember this particular location, that can be important. Now moving further, Iran will change nuclear doctrine if existence threatened. That is what has been said by the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Okay, so basically he has said that he or his advisors basically has said that if Israel is going for the any kind of existential threat to Iran, in that case they will go for creation of a nuclear weapon. Earlier when we are talking about, they are having this civil nuclear capacities, but they have always said that they will not go for building a nuclear weapon. okay, but the fact that they have the capabilities, the fact that they have the resources, that has made this Western countries more skeptical about Iran, and ultimately they have gone for the some economic sanctions on the Iran, okay. But now recently the advisor of the supreme leader of Iran, he has said that his name is Kamal Kharazi or something like that, Kamal Kharazi. So Kamal Kharazi has said that they can go for the building of the nuclear weapon if Iran or any country which threaten the existence of Iran, okay. So you know that recently Iran and Israel has a confrontation because of the some attack which has happened in you can say Iranian embassy in Syria. So all these things are basically part of that particular thing, and otherwise also this region has been in news. So please remember that Iran will change its nuclear doctrine if Israel threatens its existence. Raise questions about what Tehran says that its peaceful nuclear program. As of now, till now, they have said that they have peaceful or civilian nuclear program, and they are not thinking about making a nuclear weapon. Tehran has always said that it has no plan to obtain nuclear weapon. Western governments suspected that it wants nuclear technology to build a bomb. Nuclear program has been at the center of the long running dispute that has led to the sanctions, okay. Now we have no decision to build a nuclear weapon, but should Iran's existence threatened, there will be no choice but to change our military doctrine, okay. In 2022, same advisor, this Kamal Kharazi, he has said that Iran was technically capable of making a nuclear bomb, but has not yet decided whether to build one or not, okay. Khamenei, or basically Ayatollah Ali, banned the development of the nuclear weapons in the fatwa earlier in 2000s, okay. So the supreme leader has banned the creation of these weapons in 2000s, but then in 2022 their advisor has said that they have the capacity, okay. In the case of an attack on our nuclear facility by the Zionist regime, basically they are talking about Israel over here, our deterrence will change, okay. So that is basically a new news, because here Iran is saying that they can go for building a nuclear weapon. Now here you can say this is the location of Iran, this is your Red Sea, this is Persian Gulf, and this is your you can say Indian Ocean. Here you can say this is Caspian Sea, okay. So Iran has this you can say water boundary with the Persian Gulf and the Caspian Sea, okay. Now this area becomes important for us because here there is this Chabahar port, okay. And recently, yesterday, there was this attack in the Gwadar port in Pakistan again, okay. There was this terrorist attack. So all these things you can remember for yourself. Now here you can say you can see the boundaries of Iran, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, and here Kazakhstan. And here you can say some part of this particular thing in the, when we are talking about the this is Turkmenistan and not Kazakhstan, because it is in the Caspian Sea. So Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, here Armenia and Azerbaijan has a boundary with Iran. Then Turkey has a boundary. Georgia does not have such boundary over here. Then here is Iraq, and Kuwait has some kind of maybe some kind of boundary. So these are the countries which are having boundaries with Iran, and please go through these countries again and please see what countries are forming boundaries with Iran, okay. Be sure about it. I hope this is clear. Now we can move further. That is for your own read. There is this article, how the Olympics games got the torch relay and what it symbolizes. So earlier when these Olympics has started back then in the ancient Greece, since then these traditions are there, okay. This torch, or you can say when we are talking about this torch, this has a some kind of importance in the Greek mythology as well as the Greek culture over there, okay. The fire is considered as one of the fundamental element over there. So you can, if you have interest in all these things, so you can go through this particular article, okay. With that, we will move to the last part of the day, that is your practice question. Which of the following Indian state has longest border with Myanmar? Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Nagaland. So you have to attempt this question, answer in the comment box, because we have already discussed about these states, okay. All these states are having boundary with Myanmar. You have to choose which is having the largest boundary, okay. So with that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you on Monday. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and please subscribe to the channel.